2 years ago, I was a part-time reseller trying to make it. I was living in my van, I was a barista, and I wasn't making enough money from eBay to cover my expenses. Fast forward to 2 years to today, I have an eBay warehouse. I've bought my first rental property from eBay profits, and I help hundreds of resellers transition from low ticket, poor reselling from sourcing at the thrift store to high ticket, fast sell-through rate from sourcing from Facebook Marketplace. Let's talk about the steps that I took to go from part-time to full-time reseller. First step is to designate your freedom number. This is the amount of money that you need to make each year to get out of your job to become a full-time reseller. Let's use an example. You're a nurse and you're making $60,000 a year. Now, I like to break that down as little as possible. So 60,000 divided by 12, we get the amount of money that we need to make per month, which is $5,000. However, I like to break that down a little bit more to weeks. How much money do we need to make each week to make $5,000? Typical month has 4 weeks, turns out to $1,250 a week. Now we break that down even more. How many flips do we need to make $1,250? There's a few ways to look at it. One, we can flip one item for $1,250 in profit. I just did that this week. I bought and sold this Bemer Evo PMF mat, and I paid $2,200 for it from Facebook Marketplace and sold on eBay for $4,300. After fees and shipping, I made $1,361. So that one flip, if I can do that each week, will get me to my freedom number. However, it may be easier for you to do 5 flips for $250 profit or 10 flips for $125 profit. And if you're a thrift store seller, typically making between $20 and $30 a sale, you're gonna have to do about 60 to 75 flips. To me, I would much rather focus on the 1 flip for $1,250 profit or the 5 for $250 profit each, as to me, it's much more attainable and easier. And if I think about it, it takes way less time to do than listing, shipping, and selling 60 to 75 items. Much rather do that in 5. So we have our freedom number. That's the amount of money that we need to make each week or per sale in order to get to our goal of becoming a full-time reseller and replacing our income through reselling. Next, we need to become a business owner, and this includes tracking. The number one metric that I track for my eBay business is where my inventory comes from and what category it is. 2 reasons I do this. And yes, I keep track of profits, and yes, I keep track of costs and all that stuff, but I like to keep track of where my inventory comes from and what category it is. This allows me to sort through my spreadsheet and see what categories and what places I'm finding my inventory are the most profitable. For me, after niching down over the years, I have found that getting appliances from local connections has been by far the best way to resell. Now, it takes time. And in order to do that, you have to source on Facebook Marketplace, cold call, show up in person. But I would not know that getting luxury appliances from local connections is the most profitable method for me if I did not keep track of it. I would probably still be spending hours on hours a day sourcing from Facebook Marketplace, but that is not the best use of my time, as I know that making local connections is. So if you're not already, please start keeping track of where you get your inventory, how much you're paying, and what category it is, because you want to know how much profit is coming from each category in each sourcing solution. Next, in general rule of thumb, it takes much less time or the same exact amount of time to sell something for $3,000 as it does for $30. Same amount of time to list, same amount of time to photograph, same amount of time to write the description, same amount of time to ship. The only thing that's different is the price. So this will be inherently easier if you are raising your average sales price. And the best way to do that is to change your sourcing method by sourcing from Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or alternatives to the thrift store. The thrift store is inherently low ticket items because it's stuff that people donate and don't want. So if you want to get there quicker, consider changing your sourcing strategy. Or if you want to do it in less hours a day, change your sourcing strategy. Next, we need to talk about time and money management. This is also going to be some high-level stuff that accounts for business ownership. You need to create systems for sourcing, listing, and shipping. I'll go through mine. If you watch my recent video of the 10-5-5 rule, you know that I source for myself for 15 minutes per day. I spend 10 minutes scrolling, 5 minutes searching, and I make 5 offers per day. Now, obviously, if those offers get accepted, there's more time involved, but the 15 minutes per day of strictly sourcing allows me to run a profitable business just on Facebook Marketplace. And that does not include for the local connections that I've made by telling everyone that I meet that I sell stuff on eBay. You should too if you're not already. Next, in terms of listing, I list everything immediately. My current eBay store only has 12 active listings. It has 25 sold. So I'm selling my stuff incredibly quickly, and I have low headaches because I only have 12 items to list. When I have fewer items, I have no death pile waiting for me. It is very, very easy. It takes 5 minutes to list an item when you pick it up. So if you're sourcing from Facebook Marketplace, create the system that you cannot do anything when you get back to your office, warehouse, or home, wherever you store your inventory. You cannot do anything until that item is listed. It cannot sell if it's not listed. And then my system for shipping is I only ship items on Tuesdays and Fridays. That gives me freedom throughout the rest of the week to focus on other business activities such as making connections, sourcing on Facebook Marketplace, making YouTube videos like this, or doing fun stuff like riding my bike or going skiing. So the 3 systems that I have: 15 minutes per day for sourcing, I list everything immediately, and I only ship on Tuesdays and Fridays if I need to. Often I'm only selling 2 to 3 items a week, but those 2 to 3 items bring in lots of money. Now, your highest ROI activity as an eBay seller is finding profitable inventory. What sets you apart from a part-time reseller to a full-time reseller is not the amount of time you have, it's your ability to find profitable inventory. This being said, you can delegate every other task associated with your business. You can hire someone for 20 bucks an hour to list and ship your items. That is very, very easy to do. However, having the skill to find the best inventory out there, whether it's on Facebook Marketplace or in-person sourcing, that is what sets you apart. So if you can spend 80% of your time or more sourcing, picking up this great inventory, and delegate all of the other tasks that come with fulfilling that inventory, that is what will set you apart. If you can spend 80% of your time sourcing, that is the highest income generating activity. The rest of everything that comes with reselling, such as listing and shipping, that is just the process of fulfilling that inventory. And if you can remove yourself from the fulfillment process, that's when you can really scale your business. Next, we need to talk about money management. And this is different for everybody, but the number one rule that really changed it up for me is when I separated my personal checking account from my eBay profits. All of my eBay proceeds in my buying activity was going through my personal checking account. As soon as I separated it into either a separate personal checking account or a business account, that is when my business exploded. Why? Because what if I wanted to spend $800 on, for example, a tankless water heater to flip? Well, that $800 is also money that was being used for rent, groceries, and gas. So by having it in my personal checking account, it created more risk for me, and it made me scared to spend that money, even though I know it was a great deal. However, when it's in a separate account, that money is solely used for eBay. And we can talk about profits and distributions next, but it really reduces the risk that you have. You're still gonna have money for groceries, you're still gonna have money for gas, you're still gonna have money for rent. However, you're also gonna have money on top of that to invest in your business. Going back a step, I cannot stress enough the importance of separating your money from your personal account. Your eBay profits and your eBay inventory purchasing need to be separate from your personal checking account. If you take anything away from this video, do that. It will take you 30 minutes and it will really psychologically impact your ability to spend more money and take more risks. And when you can spend more money and take more risks, you often get the rewards from those risks. So separate your eBay income from your personal checking account. In terms of how I manage my money, I have a bankroll for new inventory. Think like a poker player. They have bankrolls for their games. I have a bankroll for my eBay inventory. Because I spend a lot of money on my inventory, I'm often spending $1,000 to $2,000 per item. My bankroll for new inventory is $20,000. It took me a long time to get there, over a year to get there. However, to get there, I paid myself 50% of the profits to live off of. So let's say I bought that thing for 800 bucks, sold it for 1,500, I made 700 bucks. I took $350 to pay myself to live off of, pay those rent and groceries, and then I reinvested 50% back into the business, that $350 back into the business for taxes and for more inventory purchasing. I did that until I got to my number, which I use currently, which is $20,000. Once I am at that $20,000, anytime I dip below it, say I go out and buy that Beamer for $2,200, I need to make that $2,200 back. So anytime I am below $20,000, I do not pay myself. Anytime I am above $20,000, I do pay myself, take those as distributions to invest, live off of, have fun with. But it is very, very important to have yourself a bankroll. For me, I buy and sell luxury appliances and high average sales price items. If you, for example, are selling golf cart chargers or EV chargers, you probably do not need a bankroll more than $3,000 to $5,000. Pick the number that works for you in your business. For me, it needs to be relatively high because I'm spending a lot of money and have a lot of expenses. If you have a storage unit and you're just doing golf cart chargers, you could probably do $3,000 as your bankroll and be totally fine because your stuff moves very, very fast, often faster than mine. So on top of this, two just quick topics. One, this will help by having the business bank account or the separate checking account, your 1099 Schedule C expense tracker. Keep track of all your expenses in terms of gas, shipping supplies, rent for a storage unit, all that kind of stuff. You can write it off at the end of the year. I'm not a CPA. Talk to your CPA. Another thing is business credit cards. I just got back from riding Vespas in Italy. That trip was paid for, at least the flights were paid for, through business credit card points. From running this business, I spend a lot of money on freight shipping. I might as well get some mileage or credit card points for it that allow me to go do some fun stuff. That's another perk of running this business credit card points. Don't get one if you won't pay it off. Just pay it off, okay? So we went over kind of the high level stuff. Let's talk about how to scale your business so you can go from part-time to full-time. We went over the fundamentals. Let's go over some of the psychology next. Okay, depending on what category you're selling in, you need to surround yourself with the people who are doing the same thing as you or are often better than you. If you're a clothing reseller, join Facebook groups or school communities for people selling clothing and people who are making more money than you selling clothing. If you flip iPhones or couches, do the same thing. Join a school group or a coaching group of people selling iPhones or couches. They will give you tips, and being surrounded by people who are doing the same thing as you will inherently make your risk tolerance much higher and make you more money because you have instant feedback from people who be like, hey, is this a good deal? Yes, it's a good deal. Go buy it. That will help you out so much. And you also get tips and tricks along the way. If you want to sell high ticket, big items from Facebook Marketplace to eBay, join Master Marketplace. 150 amazing community members who are doing the same thing and making lots of money. I'm going to shout out Seth from the group. He just made a $7,000 profit from selling a piece of surveying equipment, I believe, to Switzerland. Insane deal. And he did that in Master Marketplace, and you get to learn from people like that. I'm learning from people in the group. It's amazing. So tip number 3, surround yourself with people who are making more money than you. It's very important. Next is to pick your niche. For me, my niche is 80% luxury appliances. For a long time, I was an everything seller. I sold tankless water heaters, cameras, EV chargers, cooktops, kitchen faucets, but I was never that guy for anything. I still do sell all that kind of stuff, but now because I sell luxury appliances, I am that guy for luxury appliances in Colorado. I found a niche that works for me. I like the high margins and the high profits. However, they're big and heavy and sometimes a major pain if they need to get fixed. And I sell a lot less of them than, like, for example, golf cart chargers. So my income is irregular. But for me, that's okay. And it allows me to build a brand with local people to provide me inventory. You can do this with electric vehicle chargers. Reach out to auctions, dealerships, used car centers who sell used electric vehicles and see if they have a stockpile of EV chargers that they're sitting on and don't know what to do. You can run Facebook ads or Google ads to say, we buy EV chargers. That's a beautiful way to build your brand and your eBay business. So find the niche that works for you. You want to pick your niche with the highest hourly rate and the lowest headaches. For me, that is luxury appliances. For you, that can be anything. Okay. And last step, we are going to scale. This is what we've just spoken about, but you can build a brand, get online, cold call businesses, go into businesses of the niches you want to be in. I know someone from the group who went into a golf cart dealership and just said, I buy golf cart chargers. They walked away with like 60 golf cart chargers in their truck just by walking in and saying, I buy golf cart chargers. And now they have a connection for the rest of their life where they can buy and sell golf cart chargers and be profitable just doing that. So pick the niche that you like. Go in person, build yourself a brand, help get some business cards, get some flyers, do whatever it takes to be that person. For me, I walked into an appliance store one time. They don't typically sell luxury appliances, but I saw on Craigslist that they had a range that I wanted to buy. And I told them I buy luxury appliances. They were thrilled because they typically don't have the clientele for luxury appliances. So now anytime when they get their truckloads of appliances in, they have luxury appliances, they sell them to me directly. And when you can start getting inventory off market, direct to seller, that is when your business can explode and you can scale very, very fast. The more people that know what you do, the more money you will make. So do not be afraid to tell people you resell stuff on eBay. I hope this helped. This is exactly what I did to go from part-time to full-time. One, I raised my average sales price. I stopped sourcing at the thrift store. I started doing more in less time by sourcing on Facebook Marketplace. Like I said, takes the same amount of time to sell something for 500 as it does 50. You might as well just get better at finding those $500 items. Two, manage your money properly. I cannot repeat this enough. Separate your business income from your personal checking account. It'll change the game for you psychologically. Next, pick your niche and build a brand. With that being said, if you want to join Master Marketplace, it's the first link in the description. Right when you join, I send you a deal to pay for the group. I want you to be profitable. The more money you make, the happier you are, and the better the group is. So I'll see you next week. Peace.